Oh, hi, Mark. All right, so today we're talking about a little movie called The Redeemer, Son of Satan. And as you'll notice, I'm back in the downstairs setting, not upstairs with all of my horror movie stuff, because I'm too lazy to go upstairs. Look, you can judge me all you like, but those stairs, there's a lot of them, all right? I'm far too fat to be traversing that staircase more than once a day. Okay, not really. I do it more than once a day, but I didn't want to go up at this time, god damn it. So, The Redeemer, Son of Satan is a slasher film that came out in the 70s at some point. I'm not exactly sure when in the 70s this movie came out because I do exactly zero research before filming these videos because I'm a piece of shit. Um, oh well. But I think it was like 76 or 78, somewhere around there. And this is not the greatest film of all time. I'm just gonna start by saying that. Um, recently, I was thinking about underrated slasher movies, and this one popped into mind because I saw this movie a while ago, like years ago, and I was like, I remember liking that movie, and I never hear anybody talk about it. Well, there might be a reason that no one talks about the Redeemer. Um, it's not terrible. It isn't like the worst experience I've ever had. Saying that it's not terrible is actually overselling the quality of this film. I will be totally honest about that. But it is pretty fun. Um, some of the performances in here are wacky. There's one girl, I forget what she said or what that mannerism was that I thought was really funny. But yeah, she did this thing during the filming of the movie. That was really descriptive, Malachi. Thank you. During the filming of the movie, she did a thing. That's why you guys come here. That right there is why you guys come here. It's half for my handsome, beautiful face and half for my wonderful commentary. And then another half um, to see me drink whiskey, I assume. But she had some weird line deliveries. If it, To further divulge information about her, it's the chick with the like shoulder shirt, that weird little, the you know what I'm talking about. And you know what I'm talking about. You probably know what I'm talking about. She got the little shoulder shirt, and yeah, she had some weird line deliveries. Everyone else was pretty bad, but in a pretty boring way. She was actually bad in a fun way. The killer's also bad in a fun way. I think I like her a little more in terms of bad acting. I think her performance is funnier. Um, but yeah, no, I will say right up front, the performances in this movie are really bad. It is really bad, as well as the acting. Well, the performances and the acting are terrible. Uh, my critique and my criticizing could use some work. Um, but yeah, the performances are really bad in the film. But also, what I meant to say instead of acting, if I could coherently jumble together a thought instead of being an absolute thoughtless nincompoop, um, the script is horrendous. The dialogue, all of it, it's terrible. This movie is truly a sight to behold in terms of garbage cinema. Um, the script, the reason for things is borderline non-existent. It's all just kind of like it gives you this quote at the beginning of the film, and this will be a spoiler review because Well, really, because the movie came out in the 70s, and typically I won't spoil a movie if it's really good. This is a movie that I'm going to spoil because it's not all that good. Um, so it gives you this quote at the beginning of the film about the Redeemer rising from hell to come punish sinners. And you see this kid walk out of a lake um, in like full khakis and like a polo shirt. And I guess you're given to believe that that's the Redeemer. The ultimate twist of the film is that it's a priest that's been murdering people. You see at the end of the film that he's like talking to his congregation and shaking people's hands, and then the Redeemer goes back into the lake and goes back to hell. And there's this quote about the Redeemer sinking back into the watery depths of hell. And hello, Argento, what are you doing there, bud? What the heck are you doing? Say hello to Argento. He's pretty precious. But in any case, yeah, there's that line about the Redeemer going back to hell and the watery depths of hell, which I didn't know that the depths of hell were watery. Glad this film cleared that up for me. And he goes back into the lake and the film ends. But in terms of all that happens in between, this movie takes way too long to get going. It really does. It is slow going. You know, you find out that basically this class reunion that's happening, which this is the setup to the film, which I should have done at the very beginning of the video, but I'm a fuck up and a really bad movie critic. So I don't do those things. I just tell you when it's convenient for me to tell you. Don't you bother Biscuit. He's living his life. You leave him alone. Stop it. So the basic setup of the film is the 6 people go to a high school reunion, and they find out that they're the only 6 people at this high school reunion. And they're wondering where everyone is. And essentially, I guess what happened, because the movie doesn't do a great job of explaining it, is the 6 people like aren't great humans, I suppose, and this priest picked them out of their class specifically and invited them there to this abandoned church house to pick off one by one. And that's pretty much the gist of this film's setup. Hello, Argento, again. And in that, it's not great. I mean, that's not like a great setup for a film. I mean, you could definitely do something with that to make it interesting, but this movie really doesn't. The people are pretty one note. None of them are really likable. Some of them aren't too bad. The 2 male, well, I guess there were 3 male characters. I forgot about the actor guy, but the 2 like more, I guess, masculine male characters, because the actor guy's very flamboyant, but it's very clear that they are like stuck in the past. They're stuck in high school. They peaked in high school, and so they're basically here to live out their glory days. And I don't know about you guys, but I find people like that pretty insufferable. You know, like, you knew what kind of guys these were in high school for sure. You probably knew them in high school. Not like actually them, but you knew them. You knew them for sure. I knew them. And I didn't care for them at all. So you spend some time with them, and then this actor guy who is, I think, a catty gay man. It never really goes anywhere with why he's so flamboyant and catty. Oh well, I guess. It's all right. Um, Not that it really needs to, but I don't know. They really went out of their way. Like they had him wearing like a sweater around his neck, and he always talked like this, and he he had a lot of mannerisms that were just very, as I've been saying a lot, flamboyant. And I don't know. It felt very strange for them to just put him in there. you know, like I'm gonna put my dick on this table and we'll see what happens. Uh, but in any case, I don't like any of these characters. To be honest with you, I don't. None of them I really want to spend time with. If it weren't for the really bad acting, I wouldn't care for them really at all. So there's that. But the killer. Now the killer is what makes this movie interesting. I do enjoy the vibe of this film. Um, so I'm sorry. I started talking about the killer. I shouldn't have. I actually do want to talk about like the vibe first, the atmosphere. And that is like this really interesting, almost surreal atmosphere. Because so the movie is, to my knowledge, it's not really available in any good print. Like they've never really remastered it in a good way. Code Red did a Blu-ray and a DVD years ago. This movie is available to stream, which I think it's just the Code Red print if you stream it. It used to be available on Tubi. I'm not sure what it's available on nowadays. But the Code Red print is this heavily damaged print of the film, and they have like a little message at the beginning of the movie, like this is way below our standards, but here you go. This is the best we could do with what we had. Um, we wanted to get this movie out there for people to be able to see, and honestly, I think it adds a bit to the surreal nature of the movie. When you see this movie open and it's a kid walking out of a lake, fully like clothed like he just went to the grocery store or something with these khaki pants and a polo. And then you see all of these different costumes that the killer's wearing, which is something interesting about the killer. He changes his outfit throughout the movie. You know, he at first is like dressed as the Grim Reaper when they first see him. He acts as a inspector, like a building inspector, in order to get in there and kill the owner of the church house. Which I don't know what that guy is anyway, like a live-in security guard, or is he the owner? Is he? I said the owner, but I don't. Is he the owner? I really don't know. Um, but anyway, you know, he puts a clown costume on. He has like a Phantom of the Opera costume. And that adds to the surrealism, definitely, as well as it adds to the intrigue of the character, the killer that is. Not that you're really like, oh man, that's so interesting. You're more so just like, man, that's interesting. What an interesting choice for this movie to make. You know, there's a big difference between, oh, that's so interesting, and what an interesting decision. And this definitely leans on the side of what an interesting decision. Um, yeah, he is always changing costume, and like I say, like that's, you know, it kind of adds to the surrealism of the film. Um, so yeah, I think that this movie, due to the low quality print and kind of the nonsensical script that at times just feels really strange. Like there's a point in the script where someone gets out of this church house and you're like, how the fuck did you do that? Or schoolhouse or whatever it was. And you're like, how the fuck did you do that? Because just 2 seconds ago, you were all stuck in there. Like all the windows are barred up and everything. And then it just kind of cuts to the next scene and someone has made it out and they're running and they're trying to get help. And we never learn how that happened. What the fuck? And they totally skim past it. When the characters are talking to each other, they're like, because I think they see her die or something. They're like, "Oh man, we should have been there. I told you we should have stuck together." You How did she get out? How did she get out in the first place, dude? If you're all locked in there and barred in there, I feel like that's a massive plot hole, unless I missed something, but I very seriously doubt that I did. I think the script is just very messy. But in any case, I do really enjoy that surreal aspect of the movie. It almost gives it kind of a cozy atmosphere, like, I don't know. I don't know. I find surrealism kind of cozy as long as it's not too scary. Like, when you're watching a movie that's really scary and it's surreal, it can be kind of nightmarish. But when you watch a movie like this, it almost feels like a warm hug with how wacky and dreamlike everything is. I don't know. There's just this glossy sheen that lays over it. Not physically, not like you're gonna see a glossy sheen, just like the aura of the film. It's just this glossy sheen of like, this feels like a dream. That's kind of fun. I want to lay in bed and watch this film under a blanket. But in any case, I enjoy that. And then the killer himself, I do enjoy. He's entertaining. Very, very, very bad performance, but he is entertaining. The kills in the film is something else that I'll kind of briefly touch on. I do like the kills. They're not terrible, especially for the time period. I mean, this movie came out in the 70s. This wasn't really the time period for kills. That didn't really become a thing until like the early 80s, at least not consistently. You didn't really have movies that focused on having consistent gory kills. You had your occasional aberrations, like a Bay of Blood in 1971, or I mean, shit, I think that's the only one I can really think of that has consistent gory kills. I mean, Drive-In Massacre, I think, has a decapitation, but that's like one decapitation. So, this movie is a little more, I suppose, a little more violent than a lot of the slasher movies of the period. That's pretty neat. There's a fire kill where someone is lit on fire by a blowtorch. There's a shotgun kill. There is a 1911 kill. The killer likes guns, I guess. So he has a double barrel shotgun and he has a 1911. The shotgun kill is off screen. You see the aftermath of it. It genuinely looks like she was peppered with birdshot, which is funny. Like, I don't know. I feel like if you're a psycho killer, probably wouldn't be loading your shotgun with birdshot, and she may not have died if it was birdshot, but she may have died, but she may not have too. And so that's kind of weird. But then there was probably the best kill in the whole film is the actor kill, where like the killer is somehow operating a puppet, or maybe it's the Redeemer that's operating the puppet, and the puppet has like a big sword, and there's another sword, I guess, though we never see it until the kill happens, dangling right above the actor guy's head, and the string is tied somewhere on stage. And so when the puppet brings his sword down, it cuts the string and it releases the sword and it sticks right into the top of the actor guy's head. That's actually a really good kill. It doesn't look fantastic, obviously. It's just kind of like it sticks in. There's some bright red paint that pops out. But that's actually a really good kill conceptually. So that was a welcomed addition to the movie. I will be totally honest and say I don't remember the rest of the kills. But in any case, guys, that's going to pretty much do it for my review of The Redeemer, Son of Satan. Not a ton positive that I said about the film. Script is terrible. Acting is terrible. Um, the film looks terrible. Although, you can kind of twist it to be like, oh yeah, surrealism. Though you can pretty much do that with any movie that looks shitty, you know? Curtains has a terrible transfer too, until you watch the Synapse Blu-ray. And would I rather watch the terrible transfer of Curtains or the Synapse Blu-ray? The Synapse Blu-ray, for sure. So maybe I'd rather do that with this movie too. But, although, to be clear, Synapse doesn't have a Blu-ray. I mean, if they did. But the kills were decent. The characters are entertaining enough, although pretty unlikable. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I think that this movie is going to get like a 4 out of 10. I will say, it takes too long to get going. It's not that entertaining. But, the end of the day, it isn't terrible. And I did enjoy my time with the movie. I will watch it again. It is a 4 out of 10. But it sits in kind of a place where it's cozy, it's not one of these movies that I loathe my time with. I could definitely see for Christ's sake, I could definitely see myself watching this movie again, just for kind of a comfortable afternoon watch, maybe in October or something, and just kind of chilling out, some popcorn, a soda or something, so. Yeah, at the end of the day, 4 out of 10, Redeemer, Son of Satan. What'd you think about it? If you have any recommendations on films, go ahead and drop those in the comments below. Drop your thoughts on the film below if you watched to this point. I very seriously doubt you did, because no one sticks around anymore. I'm kidding. They never did. But if you did, thank you. And yeah, just drop whatever the fuck you feel like in them comments, boo-boo. I'll catch you on the next one.